the certificate of service that shows that Isabella Ferrer did have her lawyer accept, like, the subpoena from Blake Lively via email.
Why, and this is the question we're asking, why did Isabella decline to receive the subpoena through her lawyers with Baldoni when she was perfectly okay receiving it through Blake Lively's subpoena? Isabella has been spotted out to dinner with Blake. Is there, them trying to get their story right? Nobody really knows. Isabella worked on this film. So she's denying the subpoena from her boss. She's completely changing the tune of her story after previously saying, the work environment was great, I loved it. And then folks say, well, anyone would say that to their boss. Yeah, no, I love working with you. You're a creep. Everyone, yeah. Well, why did she go out of her way in interviews to...
Could selective cooperation with legal subpoenas actually constitute witness tampering? That's the bombshell question hanging over Hollywood right now. Isabella Ferrer, the young actress who played teenage Blake Lively in It Ends With Us, has been caught in what appears to be a stunning double standard that could expose the entire Blake Lively legal strategy. Here's what we know. Ferrer refused to accept a subpoena from Justin Baldoni's legal team, having her lawyers deny service completely. But when Blake Lively's team sent their subpoena just one day later, Ferrer's counsel accepted it immediately via email. The paper trail is undeniable and the implications are staggering. Was this coordinated strategy? Is this witness tampering, disguised as legal maneuvering? And could this double standard actually backfire in court? Before we dive into today's explosive update, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because this Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni case is moving fast, and you don't want to miss a single twist. The evidence is crystal clear, and it paints a disturbing picture of legal manipulation. On February 25th, Blake Lively's team issued a subpoena to Isabella Ferrer. By February 26th, less than 24 hours later, that subpoena was accepted via email by Ferrer's attorney. The certificate of service proves it. There's a documented paper trail showing Ferrer's legal team had zero problems receiving Blake's subpoena electronically. But here's where the story takes a sinister turn. When Justin Baldoni's team attempted to serve Ferrer with their subpoena, her lawyers flat out refused service. They wouldn't accept it. They denied it completely. The same legal team that had no issue accepting Blake Lively's electronic service suddenly developed severe communication problems when Baldoni came knocking. Let's break down exactly what...
So Blake Lively subpoenaed her on February 25, and then on February 26, they sent it via email to be received by her counsel. The same guy who's making a big stake, claiming that Wayfarer didn't do due diligence after trying 2 different addresses and them asking if they would accept the service and him being unresponsive.
These paper trails are important. It's important to have these paper trails because you need to know that someone got the information so they can't play dumb and go, oh, I never saw that. No, we asked you what your name was. It's like if I was to get subpoenas right now, I'd open the door and they say, are you Dave Neal? I'd say, that's right, star witness. And they would say, you've been served. And they would give me the subpoena. Hey, have a nice day. And it'll be over. That would be it. When Laura Owens tried to send me a subpoena for her restraining order, it never went through because it was denied by the judge, but she had paid for an express person to come find me. So it's not too hard to find somebody if they're not trying to dodge the subpoena, right? Especially if you're emailing it to their lawyers. So
here, Baldoni's process servers tried multiple approaches. They attempted service through traditional methods. They tried 2 different addresses, and they even reached out to Ferrer's legal counsel asking if they would accept electronic service, the exact same method they later used for Blake Lively. The response, radio silence. Complete unresponsiveness from the same attorney who would accept Blake's subpoena the very next day. This level of coordination doesn't happen by accident. When Ferrer's lawyer claims that Baldoni's team didn't do due diligence in attempting service, while simultaneously accepting Blake's subpoena via the exact same electronic method they refused from Baldoni, that's not coincidence. That's strategy. The legal implications here are staggering. In the American court system, you cannot pick and choose which subpoenas to honor based on who's sending them. If you're willing to provide testimony for one side, the opposing party has an equal right to that same testimony. This selective cooperation could be viewed as obstruction of the legal process itself, but the coordination goes deeper than just legal maneuvering.
Worked on this film. So she's denying the subpoena from her boss. She's completely changing the tune of her story after previously saying, the work environment was great, I loved it. And then folks say, well, anyone would say that to their boss. Yeah, no, I love working with you. You're a creep. Everyone. Yeah, well, why did she go out of her way in interviews to support Justin Baldoni, and how has that changed? Just several months ago, as we shared this morning, Isabella was, basically saying the work environment was great. And then all of a sudden, when it was time to, take a stance, she said, oh, I don't want to vouch for Blake Lively. I wasn't there. She played young Blake. So there was literally never a day where she was supposed to be there with Blake. Yet Blake took her under her wing, made her little girlfriend, and, whatever.
Isabella Ferrer has been photographed dining with Blake Lively multiple times since this legal battle began. These aren't casual industry meetups. These are strategic sessions between a key witness and one of the primary parties in a major legal dispute. Are they synchronizing their stories? Are they strategizing testimony together? The optics alone are damaging. Why risk it all? That's the million-dollar question that could expose this entire strategy. Isabella Ferrer went from being a supportive cast member praising the work environment to suddenly becoming Blake Lively's closest ally. The transformation is dramatic and suspicious. Let's examine the timeline of Ferrer's shifting narrative.
So Blake Lively subpoenaed her on February 25, and on February 26, they sent it via email to be received by her counsel. The same guy who's making a big stake, claiming that Wayfarer didn't do due diligence after trying 2 different addresses and them asking if they would accept the service and him being unresponsive.
Now, Justin Baldoni's side says we don't need to share where we tried to find her, but it wasn't out of thin air. Their words, it wasn't out of thin air. So again, it's interesting. We don't have answers, but this is the type of thing. It's like if you're a masseuse and you feel you press on someone's muscle and they go, ooh, it's like, well, that's where we need a massage. We need to massage into that tension. We need to massage into the tension.
Just months ago, she was giving interviews where she praised the work environment on It Ends With Us. She specifically supported Justin Baldoni's direction and spoke positively about the entire production experience. She seemed genuinely enthusiastic about working with the team and grateful for the opportunity. Then Blake Lively's public relations war against Baldoni erupted. Suddenly, the same actress who had praised the production was claiming she wasn't there for key incidents and couldn't vouch for the work environment. But here's the kicker. Ferrer played young Blake in the film. She was never supposed to work directly with adult Blake Lively's character during filming. Their scenes were separate by design. So why would Blake Lively take this relative newcomer under her wing unless there was strategic legal value? Ferrer shot for approximately 4 days on the film. She's not a major star. She's a replaceable supporting actress who could have easily stayed neutral in this dispute. Instead, she's become Blake's most visible supporter, dining with her, coordinating legal strategy, and actively avoiding Baldoni's attempts to gather her testimony. The pattern suggests something far more calculated than simple personal preference. When you combine the selective subpoena acceptance, the public dining meetings, and the dramatic shift in narrative, it starts to look like witness coordination, which could cross into witness tampering territory. Could this coordinated approach actually constitute witness tampering under federal law? Legal experts are starting to ask that exact question, and the answer could determine whether this Hollywood dispute becomes a criminal matter. Let's rewind for a second and understand how we got here. Isabella Ferrer is a rising actress in her mid-20s who landed a significant role in It Ends With Us, playing the younger version of Blake Lively's character. It was a career-making opportunity, working under director and co-star Justin Baldoni. Initially, Ferrer was nothing but praise for the production. In interviews conducted just months ago, she spoke positively about the work environment and specifically supported Baldoni's direction. She seemed genuinely enthusiastic about the project and her experience on set. But when Blake Lively's public relations war against Baldoni erupted, complete with allegations of misconduct and hostile work environment claims, everything changed. Suddenly, the same actress who had praised the production was distancing herself from Baldoni and aligning with Lively. The legal battle intensified when both sides began issuing subpoenas to key witnesses who could provide testimony about the actual conditions on set. That's when Ferrer's selective cooperation became apparent, and that's when this story transformed from Hollywood drama into potential legal misconduct. The core issue isn't just about competing narratives anymore. It's about whether witnesses can strategically choose which legal processes to participate in based on personal relationships, rather than legal obligations. In simple terms, what we're looking at here could constitute obstruction of justice or witness tampering. When a witness selectively cooperates with one side while actively avoiding the other, it raises serious questions about the integrity of the legal process. Federal law is clear on this point. Witnesses cannot coordinate their testimony or strategically avoid legal obligations based on personal preferences. If Ferrer and Lively have been meeting to discuss testimony, which their public dinners suggest, that coordination could cross legal lines. But here's where Baldoni's team might have played this perfectly. By documenting Ferrer's refusal to accept their subpoena while simultaneously showing her immediate acceptance of Lively's subpoena, they've created a paper trail that demonstrates potential bias and coordination. This evidence could be used in multiple ways. First, it undermines Ferrer's credibility as an unbiased witness. Second, it suggests Blake Lively's team may be engaging in witness coordination. Third, it provides grounds grounds for challenging any testimony Ferrer might provide in Lively's favor. Was this a smart legal move or a disaster? For Ferrer, it's looking increasingly like a career-damaging mistake. She's managed to alienate the director who gave her a breakout role while potentially exposing herself to legal complications. For a young actress who's still building her career, burning bridges with established directors is rarely a winning strategy. For Blake Lively's team, this could represent a significant strategic miscalculation. They may have gained a cooperative witness, but they've also created evidence of potential witness tampering that could be used against them in court. This case is setting a dangerous precedent for how celebrity legal battles can manipulate the witness process. If witnesses can simply choose which subpoenas to honor based on personal relationships, it fundamentally undermines the fairness of our legal system. But there's a bigger question lurking beneath the surface. What happens when digital evidence comes into play? Text messages, emails, social media communications between Lively and Ferrer, none of that disappears just because you delete it from your phone. Digital forensics can recover coordinated communications, and if investigators find evidence of witness coaching or testimony coordination, the legal consequences could extend far beyond this Hollywood dispute. The entertainment industry is watching this case closely because it could establish new standards for how witnesses are handled in high-profile legal battles. If selective subpoena compliance becomes normalized, it could fundamentally alter how celebrity legal disputes are conducted. For Isabella Ferrer personally, this decision could haunt her career for years. Hollywood is a small industry, and directors talk. By demonstrating that she'll strategically avoid legal obligations based on personal preferences, she's potentially damaged her reputation with an entire segment of the industry. And if this case moves forward with full legal discovery, including digital forensics and communication records, it could expose everything. Every text message, every coordination meeting, every strategic decision could become public record. The question isn't whether this will impact both Blake Lively and Isabella Ferrer's careers, it's how severely and for how long. What do you think? Is this calculated witness coordination or just unfortunate timing? Could this selective cooperation actually constitute legal misconduct? Drop your take in the comments below, and make sure you're subscribed because this story is far from over. The next legal filing could change everything.